Good morning, folks. That retired dude here. Today's going to be a little bit of a different video, connected to some past videos, but a little different. About 6 months ago, if you've seen most of my videos, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I've had a procedure done since then called Focal One, where they go into my body and they burned away about a third of my prostate. They used a laser, some kind of a robot laser system, because I had very small amounts of prostate cancer. So they went into my body with this Focal One laser system, and they tried to burn away as much cancer as possible so they wouldn't have to remove my entire prostate. It's been about 6 months, and it is now time to go for my first labs to check my PSA level. And just so you know, in case you don't know, that your PSA number for men, women don't have prostates, but for men, your PSA needs to be as close to 0 as possible for good prostate health. Mine was hovering in the high 2s to low 3 area. When it was first found, it was in the 5s, came down to the 4s, and by the time I went for my prostate procedure, it was in the 3.8, 3.5 area. So hopefully, prayerfully, that today I'm going to go for these labs. It'll be as close to 0 as possible. Hopefully 0 as possible. And then my lab result appointment is in August. So we're about to take a ride down to the hospital to see Dr. Henry. And well, I'm not going to see him, but go down and get my lab papers and then run over to the lab, get my lab results done, and be done with that. You know, the Bible says that we are not to have a spirit of fear, and I'm trying my best not to, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't a bit anxious about this, because, you know, prostate cancer can be some very serious stuff. You know, I mean, you can live with it if it's not spreading in you, but it can also spread in you and kill you. So let's get moving. Nice, peaceful, calm day. Everybody's at work. Love that machine. Let's get on down to this hospital and get these labs done. We're on the way. So I want to say good morning to everybody. That retired dude here again. I know a lot of people won't see this video because, you know, honestly, my videos don't generally get more than 200 views. If I'm lucky, 200. But for anybody who does see it, I want to make sure that you understand that as a man, and if you're a woman who has men in their life, fathers, brothers, boyfriends, husbands, whatever, it's pretty important that you get your PSA level checked, especially the closer you get to 40 years old. My prostate cancer was found when I was 62, 63 now. But the doctor said that, you know, my level was so low that it didn't even register as a stage. So I wasn't like stage 1 or anything like that. I had the presence of prostate cancer cells on my prostate. So once the PSA number came in at 5.4, they did MRI and all those things there that they do, the imaging, so they could see it a little closer. And then I had a biopsy. I think they took 11 samples out of my prostate, which was not painful because I was asleep. But after the results came back, 3 of the 11 samples were positive for prostate cancer cells. So, which was, stressful and encouraging, because out of 11 samples, 3 were positive for prostate cancer cells and the rest of them were not. And I've heard of people having like 20 samples taken and 15 of them were positive for prostate cancer cells. So they do it hemispherically. They do your prostate like a north, south, east, west type thing. And so they try to get a sample from every hemisphere to make sure they can check it all, or as much as possible. And there's no guarantee, let's be honest, of the 11 samples they took, and only 3 were positive. It doesn't mean that they missed, that they got, or that they, it doesn't mean that they didn't just miss another positive spot. But it still ended up being that, after they did what they did, that I ended up having a, I hate auto start stop, that I ended up having a biopsy. Like I said, biopsy showed what it showed. And then we looked at my options, which was to do nothing, because the doctor said he didn't want to do anything. He just didn't think it was enough. There was not enough going on my prostate to warrant me going through all the stress of having my prostate totally removed. But I did have the option to do what they call watchful waiting, or something they call it that, where you just like come back every so often for a PSA test and just see where your PSA number goes. Hopefully it stays the same. It doesn't go up, and it doesn't go up too soon. Or you have the other options also. One of my options was a thing called Focal One, which is a form of a laser treatment where they go into your prostate, and a robot laser system. It's actually it's like an ultrasound system, not a laser. It's like an ultrasound system, high intensity ultrasound that burns the cancer away. So I chose that option because of and you have to qualify for that based on your prostate level amount, your prostate cancer level amount. Because if I have a friend who was stage 2, and the same doctor that did my treatment told him that he was not a good candidate for it because he had too much cancer in his prostate, and he recommended to him that he have his removed, which he did. He went through his agonies and whatever, and when he had his 6-month PSA check, his PSA level was 0. Thank the Lord for him healing my friend. I chose Focal One since I was eligible for it, and I have gone through a lot with that. If you've seen those videos, I had to wear a catheter. The catheter came out. My bladder locked up on me within 24 hours. I had to go to the ER, have another catheter installed. Where the first catheter was put in when I was asleep, so I didn't even know it. The second one, I was wide awake when the ER nurse grabbed me by the penis and shoved that catheter tube in me. And that was, you talk about trauma and stress. That's trauma and stress right there. So all that's done, and you have to wait 6 months to get a new PSA test because all your prostate issues have to go away. Swelling, peeing blood, and all those things has to go away before you can get a new PSA test. I'm past that point now, and now I go in this morning for my labs to see what my PSA level is. My appointment with Dr. Henry to read those results is going to be in August, but I'm sure that with my healthcare app, they're going to post those results to me before I get to him. So, like I said before, the Bible says we are not to live in a spirit of fear, and I don't, because ultimately I do know that God is in control of everything that happens in our lives. We still have to stay prayed up for sure, but I would be lying if I said I was not you know, somewhat anxious over this, because I am. You know, it's something to live your life every day knowing that you have any form of cancer in you, even if the doctor says, hey, don't worry, it's not growing, it's not spreading, you don't need treatment, or you don't need surgery right now. It's still stressful to live your life every day knowing that in your body is a cancer. It is mentally a lot to deal with. Even for me, despite the fact that I stay as positive as I do when I make videos and things, it is a lot to deal with. It really is. So we're about a third of the way there, and let's see what happens. Like, share, subscribe, and do all that other good YouTube stuff. Hype the video for me, please, so YouTube can send it out to other people. Because I like doing car content, but I certainly like for people to stay healthy also. And if through my experience, it keeps somebody else healthy or saves somebody else's life, then that is more important than car content. All right, we're here. Willis Knighton Medical Center. Let's find somewhere to park. Hello.
Hi.
Made it. All right, lab sheet in hand, off to the labs. The elevator in this building is so slow. I've been standing there for minutes. It's like literally quicker to just take the stairwell. All right, labs are over. It's pretty painless. I don't like needles like anybody doesn't. Pretty painless. She was a nice lady. Couldn't film inside of there because it's a hospital, HIPAA and all that. But labs are done, and I want to just once again encourage everybody to get your labs done regularly. Get your PSA test done, men. And now, this ends this video for the day. I'm gonna go out and find something to do today. Retired people have plenty of time to do stuff. So, if you would, again, like, share, subscribe, and hype the video. Watch another video. And start your own YouTube channel so we can see what you do all day long, so we can give you some likes and shares and some subscribes. And by all means, go out and go do something you always wanted to do before you die. So people can't go to your funeral and say, he always wanted to go do fill in the blank, but he died before he had a chance. See you next time, folks. I'll keep you updated on this.